Hey, it's Nabinomic, and this is how I made my PNG tuber with PNGTubeRemix. If you're new to rigging your PNG tuber, or new to using any program that's related to PNG tubers, it's okay. I will help you with this guide. This is a beginner's guide. This is to show people who are just really new to the program, and I'm here to help you just to get yourself used to the UI and get used to like all the other settings. I am by no means an expert. I'm just helping, and just want to let you know in the link in the description, there's going to be a link to the official program, to the official Discord, and its official documentation. That's how I learned PNGTubeRemix. So with that being said, let's get started. Okay, so before we get into actually importing our layers, I'm just going to show you settings. All these are self-explanatory. Autosave on or off. When I have it on, I realize that autosave would freeze my program for like a second. I don't know if it's just a me problem, but I have it off. Change states with inputs. That I don't know, I'm leaving it on. All right, so for audio, I'm just going to be using my open mouth layer and closed mouth layer. So for volume, as you can see, if this line is too high, your mouth won't activate. If you bring it down to the part where your mouth or your volume can go over, it'll activate your open mouth layer. Now for delay, if you leave it low, it'll be delayed on when your mouth will close. See how long it took? Now if you have it up, it will close really fast. So like as you can see, that's how it works. Volume sensitivity, the volume sensitivity of your mic. The higher the sensitivity, the higher the volume. The lower the sensitivity, the lower your volume. That will. So sweet spot for me, 55%. That's just me now. This depends on your mic. That's pretty much it for audio. States remap. I don't know what this does, so I'm gonna skip over it. Import settings. Trim import. It'll auto crop the empty space in your images, which I think is pretty useful, so I keep it on. The only time I turn it off is when I'm importing my mouth sprite sheet. Okay, so we're going to import our layers for our PNG tuber. File, add images. You're going to have to find the file or the folder where you put all your layers in. I put mine in the PNGTubeRemix folder. And now select all the layers that you need for your PNG tuber. Click open. It's going to ask if you want to have your sprites trimmed. It's that setting I showed you earlier where it removes all the unused area around your image. I'm going to click yes. It's going to import all the layers that you chose. Your window may freeze, go unresponsive, but that's fine. You can just leave it. It shouldn't take too long because I don't think I put that many layers. So there you go. So here's the abomination of our PNG tuber. It's not going to be in order. So the first thing that we're going to do is going to fix the layers in the bottom left here. So for example, the visibility goes from the bottom to the top. So for example, I want to see my hair in front of my head. I'm going to bring one of my hair layers below the head layer. And as you can see, it brings it to the front. And as you do this, you're going to start to notice how your PNG tuber will come to life on how you actually drew it in the first place. If this is your like first time doing something like this, it's gonna be overwhelming. That's fine. You're gonna be okay. So without wasting any more time, I will show you the end results of my layer and I will show you what I did from there. Okay, so these are my layers when it's all organized to the best of my ability. I believe the term used here is the parent layer, and within these layers are the child layers. So for organizing purposes, I did put like pretty much the features of like the head within the layer, like the eyes, mouth open, eyes closed, etc. The hair stuff. Hair below the head layer again. The visibility goes from bottom to top. So if I wanted to see my hair, it's below the head layer. And let's get started with eyes blinking, because sometimes when you import layers, it could be in like the wrong position. So you could just left click, you select your layer that's like not in the right position, you hold left click and you can just move it around. In my case, it should be somewhere. Yeah, that should be good. And these are my eyes closed layers. So if we want my PNGTuber to blink, go to properties, make sure you have your eyes closed layer selected. Properties right here should blink eyes closed. This will close as like your character was blinking. It should go transparent. That would indicate that it's working, but sometimes it'll take a while for it to... Oh, there you go. See how it's transparent now? That means that it's working. When you go to your eyes closed layer, you go to miscellaneous, there is settings on the chance of when it will blink speed, etc., etc. But we can just fiddle with that later. As you are reordering around your layers, sometimes you're going to have trouble unlinking your child layer from your parent layer. So for example, if I move my glasses to like, let's say I linked it with the head layer and I want to move it. Sometimes it could be a little weird. If I want to unlink it, you drag the layer that you want to unlink. You just hover it over this thing that says model. And when you do that, it's going to push it all the way to the bottom. That's just a nice thing to know when you want to unlink your layer when you're organizing things around. So as you move your layers around, just remember, it is trial and error. You will find mistakes with your layers. You're going to find things be like, oh, I want to add more layers, or I could probably combine these two layers, or I should make them separate for more movement and whatnot with my layers. But again, this is a beginner tutorial. These are just the basics of what I learned myself. I'm by no means a professional. So let's say that you've got your layers to the point where you're like, seems good enough. Let's start with the mouth. In this case, as you can see with my PNGTuber in the bottom right, I do have like some lip sync mouth sprite thing going on, and I will talk about that in the end, near the end, or maybe on another video, I don't know. But in this case, we're just going to be using a mouth closed and mouth open. So let's start with mouth closed. I'm just going to go to the properties, should talk, mouth close. That's all you're going to do. Then mouth open, properties, should talk, mouth open. And as you can see in the middle now, it opens when I'm talking, closes when I don't talk. Okay, now for the more intimidating part. Moving our PNGTuber. We're gonna start small. My eyes, my left eye and right pupil. We're gonna use this to follow the mouse cursor. Left eye, we're just gonna go to movement. Follow mouse in the bottom setting. Range X. This is where trial and error will come into play again. You're going to mess around with the settings. You're going to mess around with the numbers. In this case, let's just do 5 on range X and range 5, or range 5 on range Y. As you can see that my left eye pupil is moving a little bit as my cursor is moving around. So let's just up the numbers a bit. It's being more movable now. Let's just keep going up with the numbers. That's probably too much. So 35. As you can see, it's following. Now let's bring those same numbers on the other pupil. And there you go. Your eyes are moving. As you can see, the X and Y, the higher the number, the more it like will follow. So let's say, let's bring Y to 75. And my right eye will go lower in the y-axis than the other eye. So it is nice to keep those two numbers the same for both pupils if you have two different pupils. But that's just basically it for the eyes on the follow mouse chart. Squish X, Squish Y. This part is kind of hard to explain, so I will do it on a different layer. Okay, so for the head layer, let's show you what Squish X is. Let's just, test the waters. Let's see what it does. And it only goes up to 1. In this case, I'm just going to do 0.025. If I move my mouse left and right, you can see that it's like mimicking my head turning. So if you want to just, you know, fiddle with the numbers, trial and error, you're going to be messing around with the numbers a lot. My head is moving left and right with Squish X. Squish Y, the Y axis. You can't really see it well here, but it should mimic like looking up and down a little bit. But it's kind of just doing some squishing thing, but that's fine. You can also do mouse movement on the head. You move it around. Let's just up the numbers a bit. Let's go 20, 30. See how it's moving everything around nice and squishy. And also, notice how my eyebrows and everything else is moving around with the head? That's because it's linked to the head layer. So I didn't even click on my eyebrows. I didn't even change the settings on it. But it's following the parent layer. Also, you could still go to the eyebrows and let's just give it its own numbers, like 25, 25. It will move to what setting you give it to. So let's say you just put some wacky number and it's just gonna move around with the settings that you gave. You will be doing this a lot. You're gonna be changing numbers left and right. You're gonna be going back. You're gonna be going back and forth. That's normal. You're not gonna get it at like the first try. You'll be fine. So let's say, let's try another thing. Let's go to my nose. I want it to follow around my nose. I'm just going to put the same numbers that I did on my head. And it moves around. Easy. My glasses, same thing. 20, 30. It moves around. And then my hair, I'm just going to use the parent layer, the main hair layer, but 20, 30. And now everything's moving around. Totally fine. If you just want to see it without the outlines, you click model. That's what I know. You just do this. It's going to look weird, but again, you're going to be changing numbers left and right. Okay, so let's mess with X amp, X frequency, and Y amp and Y frequency. We're going to use my hair for this, so let's just mess around with the numbers. Just going to bring this up. Nothing's happening. Turn the frequency up. Notice how it's moving left and right really fast? That's X. Y will just do up and down. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring this to 14, frequency to 0.1. And as you can see, the hair is moving up and down slowly. If I did the same numbers on X, it'll just move left and right slowly. But this is what I want on my PNGTuber, just to naturally just slowly move up and down just to give it more a more animated look. So let's bring those same numbers to my head layer. 14, 0.01. Now the head's following. Do this to my glasses. 14, 0.01. My glasses is following. My nose is not. It's weird. So we're also going to do that to my nose. And as you can see, it's naturally going up and down. Okay, this might be a strange cut, but I applied Y amp, Y frequency to most of my layers. As you can see, my PNGTuber is moving up and down slowly. Again, this is going to be trial and error. We're working on Y amp and Y frequency right now. To give it more life, your PNGTuber, we will work on the other properties, but right now, we're just talking about Y amp and Y frequency. As you can see, some parts of my hair are even moving a little independently when it's moving up and down. So as you can see in the child layers that are linked to the parent hair, the other parts of my hair are in different Y amp numbers. That gives it just a little bit of a delayed look to the hair. In this case, I do like it like this. It just makes it look a little more lively for the hair too, for like the hair pieces to move independently. Because if they all moved at the same time, it just does not look good to me. Okay, so for a breather, I hope you guys are still following. And I hope a lot more things are more clearer. I hope I did not lose you or confuse you. Right now, we've only worked on follow mouse, and we've worked on the X amp, X frequency, Y amp, Y frequency. We also worked on the blink, the talk, but we're still going to work on drag and stretch next, which will also give more livability to your PNGTuber. Okay, drag and stretch. For drag and stretch, we're going to use my glasses as an example. Notice how my glasses is moving up and down pretty much at the same time as my head. Let's bring drag all the way up. See how it's moving pretty much independently and a lot slower, how it drags? Yeah, that's what it pretty much does. And now for stretch, put this back to 0. Let's put stretch up. And now you can see it pretty much stretching. It follows, I believe, the Y movement of your mouse. Not so much, well, I guess not so much on your left on X axis, but still. That's pretty much what drag and stretch does. Stretch is mainly used for like your hair, and drag is just for, you know, just to keep things a little delayed. Again, you guys will be messing around with these numbers a lot, and it's going to be a little tedious, but if you keep going at it, you will get the results that you need. Okay, so now that you got drag and stretch down, you may notice that my PNGTuber is almost exactly like the PNGTuber in the bottom right of the screen. So what I did on mostly every single layer is that I messed around with the numbers on all the things that we did so far. So follow mouse settings, the drag and stretch, and the X and Y amp frequency. I applied this, I messed around with the numbers on most of my layers. You will do this too. It's going to be tedious. You will be messing with the numbers left and right to your liking, but I'm just going to tell you it's going to be all worth it if you keep through it. And this is pretty much most of the things that you're going to do. There is another option or property, I mean, that you're going to mess around with, which will be the rotate degree and the rotate frequency. All right, rotate degree, rotate frequency. For an example, we are going to use the hair. Let's just bring this to the maximum, see what it does. See how it's just rotating? It rotates with the Y movement of my mouse. So let's bring this to 12. Notice how it moves around when I'm just moving my mouse. Doing up, if I look up, it just rotates up and down. Easy. If you do frequency, that means it'll just automatically rotate. It'll just rotate left and right. I think it still kind of moves around with the Y movement of your cursor, but I usually just keep this off because I do not want my hair to rotate automatically. It's probably going to use for like, you know, like wheels or any like rotating things that you're going to have that you want to automatically rotate. But this is pretty much what rotate degree is. So let's also put this on the head. Let's do 12, same number as the hair. And now it's just looking more natural. So this is pretty much what the rotate is. And you just gotta, again, mess around the numbers. Okay, so with the power of editing, I've applied rotation to most of my, or some of my layers. For example, my right arm, but -2 and just a small frequency just to give it a more movement, a more natural look. Because if I put it to 0, it's not going to move and it looks weird. So another thing I want to talk about is the point of origin for the rotation. What the point of origin is, if I, let's say, made the string rotate 5. See how the string is moving weird? Its point of origin is this colored plus that you can see. And if you want to know how I pause the movement, there's a button up here that says pause movement. That's how you can stop it. So it's point of origin. I'm moving it around with control left click. I don't know if that's the term, but I'm just going to use that term, point of origin. So if I put this to where it would naturally connect with the hoodie, unpause, see how it's moving more naturally? That's the point of origin. So I'm going to apply this to my other string. Point of origin is weird, so pause movement. I will control left click for more accuracy. And as you can see, it's moving pretty good. So for other parts like let's say, pieces of my hair that I want to rotate like more natural like, the point of origin is probably going to be somewhere else. So you got to make sure you just put it to where it would connect to where you think it would be more natural like. That's what you got to watch for. Okay, so you've done your PNG tuber, you've done a lot of the properties and whatnot, and you kind of want to up the game of your PNG tuber. In order to do that, as you can see in the bottom right, my eyes are smug. If you want to do that, you can add a hotkey to activate layers. So what I did for this, I made an eye smug layer. You can kind of see the outline. In this case, my face is white. I just put like a white paint over the other eye so like blocks it. And in order to make this a hotkey or toggleable, you just choose the layer that you want. In properties, you just go to the setting down here. It says is a toggle asset. You can check that, find key, and in this case, I'm just going to put numpad 1. And now, if you click numpad 1, it's going to activate. And it's alternating between my other PNG tubers, but yeah, you see what I mean. You can probably put like hats or anything. There's probably a better way to do this, but this is pretty much how I learned it. And yeah, go crazy. Okay, so another thing that I forgot to mention is about your mouth opening and closing. There is a setting in miscellaneous. You do not have to click any layers. It's universal, I believe. For your mouth closing and opening, this is like an animation. For instance, I put 1 bounce whenever it would open or close. As you can see, my character is bouncing a little bit. If you go in the top left and click bounce, there's a settings up here where you can mess around with the numbers. I have it pretty low, but like as the numbers go up, you can see how the bounce reacts. So it's either I leave it in idle or I can just put a little bit of bounce, but I just do it in idle because I do not want to mess with that settings yet. Alright, so you made it to the end of the video. You're probably still working on your PNG tuber, but I hope this beginner guide helped you get more into this program and understand the UI and its controls a lot better. And I hope I was clear about, you know, the things I explained. I didn't go through every settings, I know, but remember, I'm only teaching you the things that I knew, that I learned myself or through the documentation. So you can go ahead and explore like all the other unexplored parts of the program. And I know I didn't go over lip sync. My lip sync still isn't that great, I think, but you can look at the official documentation for help or even the official Discord. And if you want me to still make a video, then yeah, just comment below if you want. With that being said, if you like this video, give it a like, and if you want to subscribe, then subscribe. Like always, take care of yourself and your loved ones, till we meet again.